Hey there, all you damn fans. I'm Ranger from Curse Free Studios. I'm the game designer for Damnation and the upcoming modern version of Demons Ate My Neighbors. So, today, I'm here to show you something that I think you'll find interesting as a fan of Dam, and that is one of the first prototypes that was ever made for Neighborhood Watch. Now, it's not the first. I guess I would technically call it somewhat the second most important one. And this was made all the way back in 2019. The reason why I'm not showing off the first one is just because this one is pretty much the same, just with some more features and such. So I think it's more interesting to show off. So, pretty much I'm doing this because I just feel like it's important to keep Dam alive, while we have, we're working on Damnation. We really wouldn't be back if it wasn't for all of you guys, the fans, still caring about this game despite the amount of time that has passed, So, this is the second prototype of Neighborhood Watch, which was the original name for Demons Ate My Neighbors. And I have some very interesting development insights to share with you. Now, I wasn't part of the development team, but I did shadow the development and I did contribute to this build. And I'll, talk about that when I get to that part. But I've just got a lot of interesting trivia to share, and I'm excited to do it. And I'm excited to share it with you. And, this is just the start. We've got about 4 other builds after this one to show off. And during this, I'll be talking about some things such as future things for Damnation, future things for Dam, concepts for Dam, trivia for Dam. And let's start with the most interesting piece of trivia, actually. Let me start the demo. So the most interesting piece of trivia that I have to give you is the build right before this one was actually shown to PlayStation. And I'm sure, as you can tell, that PlayStation did not pick up Neighborhood Watch. And I'm not saying that this prototype is bad or anything, but I understand why they didn't pick it up. I mean, after all, if you've looked at Sony's, output as of recent, they, I doubt that they would be publishing a pixel art roguelike game anytime soon, since they're much more into cinematic titles. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys to forgive me for any, stuttering and, going on when it comes to the commentary, since I just have a lot to share. I'm excited, and, I wanted to keep it mostly unedited, because, I just want to be real with you guys, since I feel like you deserve it. I just feel like you guys deserve to have some kind of thing from Dam, because this has been so long, and I'm still astounded that people care. I was so marveled by people still talking on the Steam discussion forums like that. That made my heart right there. Anyhow, as I said, this the build right before this one, which was a little less feature complete, was actually shown to PlayStation. They passed up on it, but I'll have some interesting facts to talk about when it comes to that build, and when it comes to that presentation, and how them pitching to Sony actually managed to influence further versions of Dam. So right now, we have April in her prototype design, and I guess I'd say she looks a little bit younger. The most noticeable thing is that her hair is entirely different. But, you know, she's also got a different top, slightly different skirt, and her shoes aren't pink. As you can see up here, we've actually got somewhat of a parody poster, you know, Robert right there. I'd assume it'd be Robert Kopp. And there's a pretty decent amount of, like, little parody things like that in this build, and you know, we'll be keeping that kind of humor for the final version. Out there, you know, we have these assets, this grass and that tree and those leaves. I think that at least one of those is actually taken straight up from Zombies Ate My Neighbors as a placeholder asset. So let's just go through. And I'm not going to read all the text, but I do want to highlight this one right here because this relates to Sony. So, water pressure drops as you shoot, which affects the damage, rate of fire, and range of your water gun. Give it a second to refill, or it'll be as efficient as well an empty water bottle. So let's just kill these zombos real quick. And pretty much the reason why I wanted to highlight the water pressure mechanic is because something that Sony said during the pitching process for Neighborhood Watch actually affected pretty much every single build for the next 2 years after this one. And that was the introduction of the water pumping mechanic, where you'd have to pump your water gun to keep up the water pressure. And, you know, as you can see in this build, you shoot and the water pressure just goes down naturally, right? Like, I can't make it any faster. It only goes up if I stop firing. But in other builds, which, you know, you'll see it in the build right after this one, which I'll have that video out sometime. But you would have to press left trigger to be able to pump your water gun, and right trigger to fire, because in this build you actually just use your right analog stick for firing. And the reason why that became a thing was because during the pitching process they were actually making the PlayStation 5, and Sony said a few different things about, you know, what was going to be part of it, and one of those things was the force feedback haptic triggers. And so, you know, I'm not calling anyone out by this, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but one thing you're doing if you want somebody to give you money for your game, right, is you better be using whatever gimmicks they have on their hardware. Like, you wouldn't want to pitch a Wii game, you know, early on in Nintendo without having, like, motion controls, right? And so, yeah, that's the entire reason the water pressure, like, pumping mechanic became a thing. It's because they wanted to, you know, impress Sony with that and have something that uses that gimmick on the DualShock 5. So, you know, they could hopefully look better in their eyes and, you know, get some money. But of course, you know, Sony passed up. Anyway, right here we have a, you know, little vault, and that's pretty much the item chest of Demons Ate My Neighbors. Although not like an item chest as in, you know, what you would get a passive from, but just an item chest for, like, money and health and stuff like that. So one thing I want to highlight here is the fact that you can actually swim, and there's a lot of different swimming sprites, which I think that's honestly pretty cool, the fact that they made 8 directional swimming sprites, you know, for just, like, diving in and getting out of the water. And the reason I'm highlighting it is because this is seemingly the only point in any of these builds where you actually swim. And I'm pretty sure that mechanic was only included due to the fact that, you know, it's a thing in Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Although I don't think it adds much to the gameplay. So, you know, I'll just put that out there. It's not exactly in my mind for the finished version of Demons Ate My Neighbors. You know, in these other builds, they didn't have these, like, green stains everywhere. So, here we've got another enemy, which, you know, I don't think you guys would know about this one and what it does. This is a Vampunk, and he will be making an appearance in Damnation, you know, if you're interested in checking that out. Of course, he's gonna, you know, make his way to the final version of Damn as well. So watch out, a vampire. If you get caught, rapidly wiggle the arrow key / left stick to escape, and I'll just let him, you know, get me. And yeah, so you shoot him, he turns into a bat, and then he runs away. And he's a pretty cool enemy. Like what we did with him in Damnation. Kind of like a charger. Yeah, you kill him and he's got that pretty cool death animation. So here we have another important mechanic for Damn. And I guess you could say Zombies Ate My Neighbors, you know, in general. So we've got a secondary weapon, and you know, Zombies Ate My Neighbors had a ton of secondary weapons, like maybe a little too many. So right here we've got this Vampunk, and I'll just throw that pizza at him, and instantly dead. And pretty much defense. Oh, Neighborhood Watch. You know, there's like 3 names I have to keep in my mind here. Demons Ate My Neighbors had an affliction system where pretty much, you know, there were elements that are like strong against other types. And right there, you know, that garlic pizza is strong against the Vampunk. And there would be a lot of different elements like that. Do you smell that? It smells like Bob's Bazaar nearby. Visit Bob's Bazaar and you can purchase some cool new sneakers that'll put some pep in your step for just $10. And this is another character which I don't think you guys have really seen that much. I think he's only really shown up in like one of the pictures on the Steam trailer, which is Bob, and he's the shopkeeper. So yeah, I just got some shoes, speed shoes, and one thing is, you guys should have seen right there, and I'll just put like a quick screenshot of it in case you missed it, but there was actually an item description and an item name up there, and I just want to say, I don't think that's something that we're going to be able to do for Damnation. You know, it depends, just because, you know, it's a lot of work, but for Demons Ate My Neighbors, you know, assuming funding, you know, we get a whole bunch of it, right? I would love to write an item description for every single item, because I play a ton of Binding of Isaac, and, you know, even Edmund McMillan has gone on to state that, you know, he thinks that item descriptions are, you know, worth it as a game design element, and I think that they are too. You know, I'd like to keep them hidden for the first time that you find the item, but I mean, you know, second time and all the times after, yeah, you should be able to tell what it does. So yeah, here we got Bob's Big Bang Bargain Bazaar, and Bob is a monster of indiscriminate species with a little mask on, pretty snazzy looking suit. I kind of wonder what he is under there. I don't know. He looks like he'd be like a spider or something. Got a few random things back there, but I don't think they're anything super noteworthy. Ooh, a little blood in that sink right there. Here we've got that health upgrade, which I'm sure if you didn't notice, those were actually modeled off of the Flintstones vitamin gummies. Which, I mean, you know, everybody loves those. Let's see. So let's go through this door. gum gun. It's like a... Oh, I'm not the biggest person into Japanese culture, but I'm pretty sure that's... Oh man, what is it? The name escapes me right now, but you know, it's one of those mech animes. Alright, so take out these zombos. So these statues right here, I'm pretty sure that these are either reused from something else or they're from some kind of asset pack. You know, I just want to let you know, we are thinking about the lore for Damn. Like, it is actively in our heads, mostly mine. And, you know, these guys right here, they are not part of it. Alright, M80s. These bad boys are sure to cause some serious damage to whatever may be blocking your path. And the M80s are actually a somewhat important thing to keep in mind, because they are actually a pretty major mechanic in every, you know, version of Damn, because they're all like the bombs from Binding Isaac and such. And we are keeping that in Damnation and the finished version of Damn. Right here we've got the nitrogen blaster, and this is pretty much an alternative gun type for your water gun. Makes it fire nitrogen. It's basically a flamethrower. Bummer, pits. Only the flyest kids in the neighborhood can cross those. If only there was some way to become one of the cool boys. And so right here we've got an item. Actually, let me use the nitrogen blaster a little bit. In later builds, it just straight up like penetrates through the enemies. Blood wine. So yeah, we've got... Oh, it doesn't even have a name, but... Okay, yeah, and then it's gone, because I can't read it fast enough. I wonder what that poster is supposed to be right there. Is that supposed to be anyone in particular? Either way, you know, yeah, this is our first active item right here, which, you know, we haven't really seen in much of the builds. Or, well, you know, we haven't seen so far in this build. And I'm sure I don't really need to say this, but yes, you know, active items and passive items are of course a thing in Damnation and Damn. Tuned out citizens are your neighbors who have been possessed by mysterious evil forces. Spray them with the holy water and your water gun to save them. Use the secondary weapon to slay them. The choice is yours, but both paths have consequences. Once you've saved all the tuned out citizens on a level, the boss room will open. Be careful. So here we've got tuned out citizens. And these are pretty much the citizens from Zombies Ate My Neighbors, although they have a bit of a kick to them since, well, you know, they can either be kind or they can be essentially mini bosses. So let's just shoot her. Her name is Sergeant Sally, as far as I can recall. I don't know the name of the cheerleader. Let's try killing her. No, it doesn't seem like you can actually slay them in this build. But saving and slaying, that's a mechanic where essentially, you know, you could sort of choose your alignment in a way. And I don't know how deep it went, because it doesn't look like it was super developed, you know, even in the game design document that I have for Damn. But seemingly, at least the way, you know, I interpreted it, and I still plan to keep it this way. Oh, also that was Gigi and Maurice. The dog is Maurice. Gigi's the human. Is essentially a way to choose your, you know, your kind of way through the angel and devil rooms in Isaac. You know, that's basically our way, instead of having to, you know, get through and not die. Also, one other thing is I would like to change it so you don't have to rescue every single tuned out citizen to be able to get to the boss, since I think that's a little annoying. And I want to be able to let people go at their own pace and not have to get every single thing in the level to progress. You know, I'm talking at least 2/3 of the tuned out citizens to be able to escape to the boss room. So, one last thing is, this is a special treat right here. Oh, hey, actually here, this isn't what I was talking about, but here it is. It's boss time. Once again, you can choose to either save or slay the beast and argue self-defense in court. And this is like the text that I most remember contributing to this build, since, you know, it's a little joke about self-defense and murder, because we love that. We love that. And the reason why I chose this build is I'm pretty sure you're actually able to fight Sheriff Pickens. I sure hope so. Please, please let me fight him. Aww. Okay. Alright, well, sadly it appears I was not able to fight Sheriff Pickens. Unfortunately. I really thought that he was in this build because when I was going over some footage, I saw footage of him in this environment, but it doesn't seem like he's in this build specifically. Either way, you know, the videos after this one, I'm going to be showing builds that do have him, and I will actually fight against him, so I hope you'll join me for that next time. Either way, even though this video was pretty long, I just hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed getting a little insight into the development history of Demons Ate My Neighbors. You know, I'm very happy to share this with you. And I just hope you'll stick around for the future, you know, for these future videos, any articles, any, you know, emails, and, especially any games, you know, mainly Damnation and, Demons Ate My Neighbors. So, yeah, this is Ranger from Curse Free Studios signing off, and I just want to thank you for being here and experiencing this with me. I hope I didn't go on talking too much. So, you have a good day. I'll see ya.